Welcome to Superlap Scotland here at Knockhill Racing Circuit, where we have the cars lined up in the holding area getting ready to go for the qualifying session. This is a look back at our June event under lovely sunny skies and nice warm temperatures at Knockhill. Cars in the holding area about to go on track for qualifying. Qualifying, an important part of Superlap Scotland, because not only do the drivers get to set their final position for the runoff, but they also score points for qualifying in Superlap Scotland. So it's a very, very important part of the day for them. Some people approach it where they want to stay on track for the entirety of the session. Other people try and actually simulate a Superlap. Ian Bonthorne and his BMW there, well, he just tries to simulate having fun out there on the track, leaving a lot of dark lines on track this weekend and a lot of sideways action as well. We welcome back Adam Kindness in his Mini. Adam hadn't been around for the first one. The Mini Cooper S, the R53 car, had come back. But it's Martin Hutton who was fastest in Class G in that trusty Peugeot 106. One of the trusty Peugeot 106s. He does have a couple of these cars, but Martin all the way there in Class G doing a 107.239. Carl Walker, oh dear, a little bit too keen into turn 3 McIntyre's, and off went Carl into the gravel trap, scooped up a whole lot of gravel, but did manage to get back out on track on his way, thankfully. Rab Jobson and Alex Milne were here as ever. Rab struggling a little bit with the Audi for some reason, but fastest in Class F was Phil Taylor in the Renault Clio. Phil doing a 102.7. Phil Taylor back once again, a man who's supported Superlap from the very, very beginning, and it's great to see Phil Taylor out there in his Taylor joinery car that he has. The Clio seems to make more power every time we see Phil here, and he covers a lot of track as well. Andrew Fahey there kicking up the dust going through the bottom of Butchers. Andrew Cowie fastest in Class E for Andrew Cowie, a 101.298 in his trusty Subaru Impreza. And Andrew saying to us all the way through the weekend, this is the best weekend he's had at Superlap Scotland. The car has been absolutely faultless to this point. Let's see if he gets on through the rest of qualifying and the final. Again, Bonthorne laying some big lines as he comes through Clark Corner, and fastest in Class D as he comes through McIntyre's again with the back of that car hanging out. Ian Bonthorne, his BMW M4 sounds great in the downshifts here, and listen to this as he powers away up Knockhill. Brian Verbarg, fastest in Class C in his trusty Honda, and Brian making progress all the time in his Honda, a 102.040. The white Honda. Remember, Brian last year arrived in the red Honda, Brian this time in his trusty white one out there. And Nev Wood, as ever, just doing what he needs to do in qualifying. 54.9 in the Ariel Atom for Nev Wood. On board with Steve Arkley. Brilliant footage of Steve. Look how smooth this man is on the steering wheel as he comes into McIntyre's. Listen to this little thing rev as well. The Westfield Mega Booster. As we've been on board with Steve through McIntyre's, Butchers and up to the chicane. Looking great in that little car was Steve Arkley, a 56.9. Mark Thompson in the Radical also out there doing a 53.3. And Mark Thompson stepping over from Mod Sports, deciding to do Mod Sports one day and Superlap the next. Quite like that. Fastest in the Pro class, Andrew Gallagher. Welcome back, Andrew. 52.902 in Kenny McKell's very, very fast Mitsubishi. Don't know why the wipers have been coming on as he gets to VMAX heading towards the hairpin. But Andrew, a very fast driver, whether he's on gravel or on tarmac. Fastest in Pro X was the Radical SR8 of Mark Thompson. And just listen to this car up the straight. Huge amounts of oversteer, huge amounts of speed. Gallagher fastest in qualifying overall from Mark Thompson and Nev Wood. Ian Bonthorne and Steve Arkley rounding out the top 5. As we move in towards the final for Superlap Scotland, the running order has been set from qualifying, and the fastest driver in qualifying will effectively go last. This is an important part of the day, as qualifying was. Let's see how the finals go for our Superlap drivers. First on track, fastest in Class G, Martin Hutton, a 106.594 for Martin Hutton, and Martin threw absolute caution to the wind in his little Peugeot. Great to see him attacking the car, and the track with as much gusto as he possibly can. And we've got to remember, Martin also a sometimes scrutineer for Motorsport UK, so he knows both sides of the fence, but this time strapping on the race suit and away he goes.
That's the fastest I've gone all weekend. It's good, even compared to yesterday. I was only doing 67, but it was consistent, so I just decided to pull all the stops out and just go for it.
Andrew Fahey, 4th in Class F for Andrew, a 106.284. And the Renault Megane, slightly off pace this weekend, Andrew Fahey, but he did manage to gather up through the second half of the lap and delivered as he got further on. Carl Walker, 3rd in Class F, and Carl Walker with a 104.847 for Carl. Remember, we saw him off in qualifying, but he definitely made it pay in the final for Superlap. Mark Thompson, another one, yes, 2 in the 1 championship. Mark with a C in his Mini Cooper S, a 104.6, put him 2nd in Class F, not to be confused with the Radical SR8 of Mark with a K. Looking good on this lap in the little Mini. And then the fastest man in Class F once again was Phil Taylor, looking very, very good. Number 392, the Renault Clio, a 104.199 for Phil Taylor as he come through Clark Corner. Unfortunately, he missed the April one with car issues, came back in June, and he came back swinging. All guns are blazing up towards the line. Into Class E, Alex Milne, a 104.905 for Alex Milne in the Renault Megane R26. Struggling to get the tyres up to temperature at the start of the push lap. Alex didn't seem too happy after it, but the smile was still very much there. Then this man arrived, Rab Jobson, 2nd in Class E, which was a bit of a surprise. Rab Jobson, we did say he'd been just struggling a little bit with the RES Audi over the course of the weekend. Rab Jobson not used to finishing 2nd, but Andrew Cowie pulled out all the stops. A win for Andrew Cowie in Class E, saw him do a 101.126, and that faultless weekend continued for Andrew Cowie as he came through the hairpin, delighted with how the Subaru had run. He took Class E honours. Into Class D, 2nd in Class D, Adam Kindness, 58.024 for the returning Adam Kindness in the trusty 155 Mini. And maybe that's why he was 2nd, a little bit too keen through chicane, bouncing off and into the gravel. He put a wheel. Winner in Class D, Ian Bonthrone, 55 seconds for Ian Bonthrone, 55.891, and Ian did decide to tidy up just that little bit for his main Superlap run. Having said that, Ian Bonthrone does get a little bit throttle happy now and again, as you can see. Brian Verbarg took the Class C honours. Brian in his Honda, again last year in Class D, moving up in towards Class C this year for Brian Verbarg, and the lap time delivered was a 102.419 in his Honda EP3. Class B honours went the way of Steve Arkley, a 57.2 second lap for Steve Arkley in the trusty Westfield Megabusa, and with some great onboard footage from Steve Arkley earlier on. A long time campaigner in Superlap Scotland, a man who knows how to get the best out of this car, whether it's a Superlap or whether he's doing sprints up and down the country. Fastest in Pro Class, Nev Wood. Second fastest in Pro Class, Nev Wood in the Ariel Atom, 55.542 for Nev Wood. As he made his way round on this lap, he had a bit of stiff competition this weekend with Andrew Gallagher, but typical Nev, he stepped up to the competition and attacked it head on. Didn't have enough for Gallagher though, 52.461 went the way of the Mitsubishi Evo 8 driver as we go on board with Gallagher. car sounding sensational. Gallagher, a seasoned pro when it comes to Superlap Scotland, time attack or rallying in the forests. Through Clark Corner, heading towards the hairpin. Pro X class went the way of Mark Thompson in the extremely cool Radical SR8. 53.379 for Mark Thompson. Not the fastest overall on the day though, but a very, very good lap put together by Mark Thompson. Mark with the K, stepping over from Mod Sports on the Saturday into Superlap on the Sunday and having a ball out there in his Radical SR8. Andrew Gallagher wins the class and also fastest on the day, fastest in pro class, and takes that 52.4 second lap. Thompson, Nev Wood and Ian Bonthorne. Championship standings, well, it's Mark Thompson there who's top of the championship from Steve Arkley and Carl Walker. It's an interclass championship. You can see it's a class F that leads the way in his Mini, and it's all about July now as we look ahead to Superlap Scotland's next visit to Knockhill, which will be the 7th of July. Tickets at knockhill.com/events. See you then.